humans and future AI overlords. I am here today to talk about hurricanes. Now I'm using Safari with googlebard. I'm going to ask, when is hurricane season in the United States? So the official hurricane season in the United States is from June 1st to November 30th. And that definitely feels right living in Florida now for a few years. So what is a hurricane? So a hurricane is a type of tropical cyclone that forms over tropical or subtropical waters. It is characterized by a low pressure center, a closed low level atmospheric circulation, strong winds, and a spiral arrangement of thunderstorms that produce heavy rains and squalls. Hurricanes are classified according to their maximum sustained winds, with Category 5 being the strongest. The word hurricane comes from the Taino Native American word hurricane, which means evil spirit of the wind. Hurricanes are also typhoons in the Western Pacific Ocean and cyclones in the Indian Ocean. Wow, that's really cool and interesting history in different utilization of words. Because I've heard those words and I'm like, okay, are those the same thing? Are they not? I always thought they were different. So hurricanes form when warm, moist air over the ocean rises and cools. As the air rises, it condenses and releases heat, which creates the thunderstorms that are characteristic of hurricanes. The thunderstorm spirals inward towards the center of the storm where the air pressure is lowest. The winds in a hurricane can reach speeds of over 150 miles per hour, and the storm surge, or the rise in sea level caused by the winds, can be up to 20 feet high. Wow. Oh my gosh. Like I hear storm surge being such, like one of the high impact issues with a hurricane, but I did not realize it could be that high. Hurricanes can cause extensive damage to coastal areas, including flooding, wind damage, and storm surge. They can also cause power outages and other disruptions to infrastructure. In the United States, the most active hurricane season is typically from August to October. So yeah, we've got that wider season, but our activity rate is a little bit shorter. So here's some safety tips to follow during a hurricane. Stay informed about the storm's track and intensity. If you live in coastal area, evacuate if you're advised to do so. If you cannot evacuate, take shelter in a safe place such as a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of your home. Secure your home and belongings. Stay away from downed power lines and flooded areas. For more information on hurricanes, please visit the National Hurricane Center. And then there's the www.nhc.noaa.gov. So that is a fantastic explanation. I always wanted to know, how does a hurricane compare to other weather events? So it says hurricanes are the most powerful weather events on Earth. They can produce winds of over 150 miles per hour, storm surges up to 20 feet, and heavy rains that can cause flooding. Hurricanes can cause extensive damage to coastal areas, including damage to property, infrastructure, and crops. They can also lead to loss of life. Here's how a hurricane compares to other weather events. So they reference tornadoes. I grew up in the Midwest, so I'm very familiar with tornadoes. Tornadoes are rotating columns of air that can reach speeds of up to 300 miles per hour. They're much smaller than hurricanes because they can cause more damage in a concentrated area. Tornadoes are common in central and southern United States. Typhoons are hurricanes that form in the Western Pacific Ocean. They're similar to hurricanes in terms of size and strength, but they tend to be more intense than the hurricanes that form in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, that's good to know. Blizzards are severe storms that are characterized by strong winds, low visibility, and heavy snow. Blizzards can cause travel disruptions and power outages. They're common in the northern United States and Canada. Floods can be caused by a variety of factors, including hurricanes, heavy rains, and snowmelt. Floods can cause widespread damage to property infrastructure. They can also lead to loss of life. Yes, floods. I've definitely experienced flooded areas post-hurricane. So yeah, that makes sense. Hurricanes are a serious threat to coastal communities, but there are steps that can be taken to reduce risk of damage and loss of life. These steps include building codes. Building codes that are designed to withstand hurricane force winds, can help protect homes and businesses from damages. Evacuation plans should be in place for coastal communities that are at risk of hurricanes. These plans should include information on how to safely evacuate and where to go, and emergency preparedness. Individuals and families should be prepared for hurricanes by having a plan in place and by stocking up on supplies. By taking these steps, we can reduce the impact of hurricanes and keep our communities safe. So now I want to know, like, what parts of the United States are primarily affected? Let's see. So it's saying that the United States is divided into 6 hurricane-prone zones. The Atlantic coast, this region includes coastal states from Florida to Maine. Florida is the most hurricane-prone state in the United States, followed by Texas and Louisiana. The Gulf Coast, the region includes coastal states from Texas to Florida. The Gulf Coast is also at high risk for hurricanes, with Louisiana being the most affected state. And the Caribbean, the region includes the islands of the Caribbean Sea. The Caribbean is also at risk for hurricanes, with Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic being the most affected. The Florida Keys. This region is a chain of islands off the coast of Florida. The Florida Keys are particularly vulnerable to hurricanes as they are located in a narrow channel that hurricanes can easily pass through. Keys are so beautiful. I remember going as a kid and visiting friends, and it was amazing. And I remember feeling like I'm on this beautiful little island. Anyway, the Hawaiian Islands. This region is located in the Pacific Ocean, but is still at risk for hurricanes. The most recent hurricane to strike Hawaii was Hurricane Lane in 2018. The Mid-Atlantic coast. This region includes coastal states from North Carolina to Virginia. The Mid-Atlantic coast is not as hurricane-prone as other regions, but it still has been affected by hurricanes in the past. Hurricanes can also affect inland areas, especially if they make landfall and cause flooding. However, coastal regions are at the highest risk for hurricane damage. That is very interesting how they break it up into zones. So I'm going to ask Bard to create a table of hurricanes in the United States sorted old to new. So let's see if we can get a history of hurricanes. So creating a table, so it's got the name of the hurricane, the year, the category, the max sustained winds and the landfall. Excellent. Bard created an excellent table. It was showing year 1876 San Felipe II, and then the most recent one from 2019, Hurricane Dorian, was a Category 5, max sustained winds 185, landfall location Bahamas. So this is very cool to have this table, form, and I didn't have to, what I loved about it is that it automatically identified name and year and category. The max sustained winds is a wonderful add, and landfall location, that's excellent. But I love how it not just created a table, but it added some really great columns. So what I'm going to see if it can add to this table, add tropical storms to this table, just to look and see if it can add additional data, but also look at hurricanes and tropical storms kind of intermixed. Let's see what it says. Okay, so it's added, no, it looks like it, oh yeah, so it's added some additional hurricanes here. So this table includes all tropical storms and hurricanes that made landfall in the United States. Tropical storms are classified as having maximum sustained winds of 39 to 73, while hurricanes are classified at maximum sustained winds of 74 or greater. Okay, interesting. So it's added the tropical storms and some additional, wow, okay, that's very cool. So now what I want to do is really, kind of the big question is, what should people do to prepare? Let's see if it can come up with a good, okay, so it says there are many things people do can prepare for a hurricane. Some of the most important things include have a plan. This plan should include what you will do if you're told to evacuate and where to go. Make a kit. This kit should include food, water, first aid supplies, and other essentials that you need if you're unable to leave your home for an extended period of time. Secure your home. This means boarding up windows, securing doors, removing any loose objects that could be blown around by the wind. Have a way to communicate. This can include battery-powered radio, a cell phone with charged battery, or satellite phone. Stay informed, monitor weather reports, and follow instructions of local officials. Here's some additional tips. Have a designated meeting place. This is a place where you and your family will meet if you're separated during a hurricane. That's a wonderful idea. It's kind of like when you go to Disney World. We get separated, we're all going to meet, at the flagpole in front of the park. Have a plan for your pets. If you need to evacuate, make sure you have a safe place for your pets to go. Have a backup plan if your power goes out. You may need to have a way to cook food, charge your devices, stay warm. I bought a backup battery. And it's been really helpful, when the power goes out. It has a little light built on it. It's pretty nice. But be prepared to lose power and water. It may take several days for power and water to be restored. I've definitely heard that from people in Florida. They've been out for several days without electricity and water, and that does just sound awful. Be patient, understanding after a hurricane there may be a lot of damage and disruption. Be patient with yourself and others as you work to recover. So now I'm going to ask what resources are available on hurricanes. So let's see if it can provide us other links. I know it gave us that link, that government link. So, okay, so National Hurricane Center, NHC. The NHC is the official hurricane forecasting agency for the United States. They provide up-to-date information on hurricanes, including track forecasts, storm surge forecasts, and wind speed forecasts. Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, is a federal agency responsible for coordinating disaster relief in the United States. They have a website with information on hurricane preparedness and evacuation. Your local emergency management office, I didn't know that existed. Your local emergency management office can provide specific information on hurricanes for your area. They may also have resources on how to prepare for hurricanes, such as evacuation plans and shelters. Yeah, that makes total sense. The Red Cross is a humanitarian organization that provides disaster relief. They have a website with information on hurricane preparedness and evacuation. The American Red, you can find information helpful on hurricanes from news websites, weather websites, and social media. It's important to get your information from reliable sources. Here are additional tips for finding hurricane resources. Search hurricane resources or hurricane preparedness. This will bring up a variety of websites and organizations that will offer information on hurricanes. Check with your local library or community center. They may have resources on hurricanes or can point you in the right direction. Talk to your friends, families, and neighbors. They may have information or resources that you can use, and be prepared to act. If you live in an area that is prone to hurricanes, it's important to prepare to act quickly if hurricane warning is issued. So I'm just going to click Google it, and then I'm going to click the resources available on hurricanes, and here we go. FEMA, ready.gov, hurricane, NHC, outreach resources, hurricane resources, Heart of Florida United Way. So this is fantastic, and that's one of the great features I love about googlebard is you can just click the Google it button. It'll show the search topics, and then you can go from there. So I'm gonna, let's see here. I'm gonna ask, what should you do after a hurricane? Let's see here. So here's some things you do after a hurricane. Check for damage to your home or property. If there's damage, do not enter your home until it's been declared safe by local officials. If you're evacuated, do not return home until you've been told it's safe to do so. Be aware of potential hazards, such as downed power lines, flooded areas, and dangerous debris. Stay informed of latest developments. Listen to the radio or TV for updates from local officials. Help your neighbors if they need it. Document your damage. Take pictures and videos of the damage to your property. Those will help you file an insurance claim. Contact your insurance company. File a claim as soon as possible after the hurricane. Be patient. It may take some time for your home and property to be repaired. Here's some additional tips to do after the hurricane. Do not drive through flooded areas. Yeah, I hear people do that all the time. They drive through flooded areas, they get stuck, and just can lead to catastrophe. Do not use generators or grills indoors. Okay, yeah, like those gas power generators and stuff, those are not for indoors. Do not eat food that's been in contact with floodwaters. That definitely makes sense. Beware of the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Do not use generators or grills indoors. Yep. Check on elderly neighbors and other vulnerable individuals. Yeah, that's wonderful. Be prepared for power outages and water outages. Be patient, understanding after a hurricane. There may be a lot of damage and disruption. Be patient with yourself and others as you work to recover. Let's see here. And then I'm going to ask, how can you help your community recover from a hurricane? So they had some good examples there of, checking in on your neighbors and your most at risk. So here's some ways to help your community recover from a hurricane. Donate to local charities and relief organizations. There are many organizations that are working to help people in need after a hurricane. Your donation can help provide food, water, shelter, and other essential items for those who have been affected. Volunteer your time. I know that many people will go volunteer their time to help communities recover and deal with cleanup efforts, distribute food and water, provide emotional support to those who have been affected. Spread awareness, share information about hurricane preparedness and recovery with your friends, family, and neighbors. This can help ensure that everyone is prepared for the next hurricane. Support local businesses after hurricane. Many businesses may be struggling. By supporting these businesses, you can help them recover and rebuild. And be patient, understanding. Recovery from a hurricane can take time. Be patient with yourself and others as you work to rebuild your community. Be kind and compassionate. A hurricane can be a traumatic experience. Be kind and compassionate to those that have been affected. Here's some additional tips for helping your community to recover a hurricane. Coordinate with your neighbors. Work together to assess damage and identify needs. Be organized. Keep track of your donations and volunteer hours. Be safe. Don't put you or yourself or others in danger. Be patient. Recovery can take time, and be positive. Your attitude can make a difference. Man, I really do love BARD. I love how it includes, not just the tactical things you need to do, but emotional aspects of it, the personal aspects, the human aspects of it. I think it's let's see here. So I'm going to ask it, can you create a hurricane plan for me? Let's see. Okay, so sure, here's some steps you can take to create a hurricane plan. So know your risk. I think that's a great thing. Find out if you live in a hurricane-prone area and what the risks are. You can find that information from your local emergency management company or the National Hurricane Center. So make a plan. Well, decide what you will do if a hurricane warning is issued. The plan may include where you will go if you need to evacuate, how you will communicate with friends and family, and what you will do with your pets. Assemble the survival kit. So these are kind of things we saw before: food and water, first aid supplies, essentials you need if you're unable to leave your home for an extended period. Secure your home, stay informed. So it looks like this is the majority of stuff that we had before. Here's a more detailed hurricane plan you can follow. Know your evacuation zone. If you live in a hurricane-prone area, you should know your evacuation zone. This is the area that would be evacuated if hurricane warning is issued. You can find your evacuation zone on your local emergency management office's website. Make a list of important documents. This list should include insurance policies, birth certificates, passports, and other important documents. You should keep this list in a safe place, such as fireproof safe or a sealed envelope in your hurricane kit. Assemble a hurricane kit. Your hurricane kit should include food, water, first aid supplies, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, a cell phone charger, and other essentials. You should include a pack, change of clothes, toiletries, and other items you may need if you're unable to return home for an extended period of time. See, that's what I was looking for. Secure your home, board up windows, secure doors, remove any loose objects that can be blown around by the wind. Have a plan for your pets. You have pets, you should have a plan for what to do if you need to evacuate. You may consider having a friend or family member take care of your pets, or you may want to board them at a pet shelter. Stay informed, monitor weather reports, and follow instructions of local officials. If hurricane warning is issued for your area, evacuate as instructed. Here's some additional tips for creating a hurricane plan. Make sure your plan is updated. Absolutely, your plan should be updated annually to reflect any changes in your circumstances, such as new address or a change in your family's composition. Practice your plan. Oh, that's a good idea. It's a good idea to practice your plan at least once a year so you know what to do in the event of a hurricane. Share your plan with your family and friends. Make sure everyone in your household knows what the plan is, what the role is in the event of a hurricane. That is wonderful. And then be flexible. Things don't always go according to plan, so it's important to be flexible and adaptable in the event of a hurricane. By following these steps, you can create a hurricane plan that will help you stay safe and prepared in the event of a hurricane. Well, this to me was fantastic because while I've lived in Florida for a while and I've definitely gone through a couple hurricanes, nothing directly devastating to me living in Central Florida, but it has been scary. I mean, I had to prepare, and I've had power go out for a day or so. I've had water go out for a little bit, and I've done the thing where I bought lots of water. I've made sure I had food I could eat for several days. So I've done have a backup batteries and backup lighting and things like that to make sure because it is when the power goes out. I mean, I'm just so used to always having power and water and the ability to go to the bathroom. When the water goes out, it affects that as well. So it's good to I think creating a plan, communicating the plan, practicing a plan is a fantastic idea. So I hope you learned something from this today. I just want to showcase how Google Bard and these new AI tools can be very helpful in helping you prepare for hurricanes. Thank you for joining me, and stay safe out there.